All right, so move on to the next segment. We're going to pivot here over to the world of boxing, and I'll be sharing my own personal dream card of what I would have for the card for the Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford undercard. So it's already been announced that Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford will meet in the boxing ring September 13th, streaming live on Netflix for an undisputed super middleweight title defense for Canelo Alvarez, challenging against Terrence Crawford, who's daring himself to be great, moving up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez in a undisputed super middleweight fight. The fight is going to be organized by Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White. They'll be promoting the fight for this fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford that's going to be streamed on Netflix. Now, I feel like Turki and Dana White are going to have to come together to make this card as big as possible, because you're having it streaming on Netflix. It's the second ever boxing event that's going to stream on Netflix, and I think they got to take a page out of the playbook of what Jake Paul and Mike Tyson did for the card that they built on Netflix, dating back to November 2024. Now, the event wasn't the greatest, of course, between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, but the undercard was pretty solid because you had Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor in an undisputed women's championship fight that stole the show in the co-main event slot. You had Mario Barrios defend the welterweight WBC welterweight title on the undercard as well. I think they got to build up the undercard pretty well to have fans invested in the card and not waiting until the end of the night for the main event of Canelo and Crawford. So I think Turki Al-Sheikh has something to prove here. I think Dana White has something to prove here for the first time of him being a part of a big boxing card like this, being a boxing promoter. He has to have all hits, no misses on this card. So if I were Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White, this I would have the dream card, the dream undercard for the Canelo and Crawford fight. Fight 1 would be Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noquez for the vacant WBO lightweight title, or I would have Abdullah Mason versus Edwin De Los Santos for the vacant WBO lightweight title. The second fight on the card, I would have Nakatani on the card. Nakatani is the unified bantamweight champion holding the WBO IBF titles. Turki Al-Sheikh loves him some Nakatani. He fights over in Japan, so a lot of United States fans aren't really familiar with his game, but he is a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. And in the co-main event, I would have Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz at 154 in the co-main event to give you some explosive fireworks of what the main event could have in store for Canelo and Crawford in the main event of that card. I think that's a fire undercard. But let me go into the details why I would have those particular fights on the undercard. So first fight that would take place at lightweight, you would have Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noquez for the vacant WBO lightweight title. If that's the fight that they want to go in, the WBO has already ordered this fight to happen. Both of them are ranked number 1, number 2 at the lightweight division, and they're both on top of their game right now, both young, undefeated fighters. I think that's a fun fight, and both fighters love to stand in the pocket. Both are undefeated. Both are good counter punchers. Abdullah Mason and Edwin De Los Santos, if that fight doesn't happen, Abdullah Mason, Edwin De Los Santos would be a good one as well. I said when this Keyshawn Davis situation happened, where Keyshawn Davis was stripped of the title for not making weight, and the whole entire fight that got scrapped between Keyshawn Davis and Edwin De Los Santos was scrapped and over with, I thought they should have elevated Abdullah Mason to the main event to have Edwin De Los Santos fight for the vacant title. But I get it. Abdullah Mason is still young in his career, so I get why ESPN Top Rank and Bob Arum didn't want to pull the trigger on the young fighter, having him take that fight on a 24-hour notice and then come up short, possibly losing by knockout. So things happen. But this time around, the argument's there that Abdullah Mason is ready for a world title shot. Edwin De Los Santos never got a true world title shot because he made the weight. He did everything he was supposed to do, but just couldn't get in the ring because his opponent missed weight by over 4 pounds. So he never got a world title shot that he was supposed to get. I think that fight would be really massive to have on the undercard of Canelo and Crawford. Plus, Turki Al-Sheikh has already expressed he wants young, upcoming talent on the card to make this Canelo Alvarez and Crawford fight card feel as special as possible. And he loves himself some Abdullah Mason, so why not get Abdullah Mason a big time opportunity to shine, fighting for the vacated WBO title, either fighting Noquez or Edwin De Los Santos. I think that's the right decision to have Abdullah Mason on the card fighting for the vacated WBO lightweight title. Now next, Nakatani is a fighter that a lot of fans, or I should say some United States fans, aren't really familiar with. He is the WBO and IBF bantamweight champion, unified champion, and he is a fighter that puts on a show. He's a top 10 pound for pound fighter. And Turki Al-Sheikh has also expressed interest in having Nakatani a part of the card of this Canelo Alvarez and Crawford fight card. Nakatani is a fighter that has some explosive power. He's known for his knockouts over in Japan, and when you look at his type of fighting style, he kind of fights in a similar way that Manny Pacquiao did, with a strong jab, a lead left hand, and has swift footwork in the boxing ring. I think this would be really good to have Nakatani on the card. Don't have to have him in the co-main event slot, but if he can have a successful title defense against a worthy opponent at the bantamweight division, I think that's best for business to have him a part of the card. And my thing is, for the co-main event, for Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, this would be the co-main event that this card truly needs. It's fireworks. It's the future of boxing, of which you're getting between Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. And Jaron Ennis and Eddie Hearns has hinted to Jaron Ennis moving up to 154 several times, especially after he just became the unified champion, holding the WBA, IBF, and the Ring Magazine world titles at the welterweight division. And Virgil Ortiz is a guy that is electrifying to watch in the boxing ring. And this was actually the fight that we were supposed to get in February on that boxing card between Arthur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol in that rematch, but it never happened because Jaron Ennis stated that he was going to stay down at 147, and that's where you saw Virgil Ortiz fight somebody else on the card. But I think overall that's an exciting fight. They both have knockout power, both have good footwork, both have good boxing IQs, willingness to exchange bombs in the pocket. Hopefully that's a fight that can happen. But I think Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White got to sit down and think of any type of possibility that they can have to make this undercard one of the biggest undercards of the year, especially with this event streaming live on Netflix. You got to hit it out of the park. You got to do anything you can to make this card feel important and feel special. And I have fans wait around and only tune in for the main event, because the streaming numbers will show if nobody is tuning in until the main event between Canelo and Crawford. But that's my own personal dream card, what I would have on the Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford undercard.